Okay, let's dig into this. We're doing a deep dive today on the research, the actual science behind a pretty popular testosterone complex.
Yeah, and we should probably start by getting the names right, unlike maybe some marketing material.
Hmm.
We're talking Tongkat Ali, Mucuna pruriens, and Black Galangale.
Exactly. And our goal here really is to figure out what holds up under scrutiny. What's real science versus just, well, hype.
And what's interesting right off the bat is the formula's approach. It's not just one thing.
Right.
It seems designed to target testosterone through like multiple angles at once, different pathways working together. That's generally a smarter strategy, I think.
Makes sense. Okay, so let's start with the biggest one, probably. Tongkat Ali. The source material calls the data legitimately impressive. Why? What's the actual data?
Well, the clinical trials are pretty solid.
Mm.
For men starting out with genuinely low testosterone levels, there was one key finding.
Yeah.
Nearly half, almost 50%, saw measurable increases in their testosterone after 6 months. That's significant. It shows it can work for that group. Okay, 6 months for low T guys. But I remember seeing something about healthy young men too. That seemed even more eye-catching.
Ah, yes. That's the one where, in just 2 weeks, participants saw about a 15% increase in total T. But the really striking number was free testosterone.
Which jumped. How much?
A 34% increase in free T after only 2 weeks.
Wow. Okay, that is fast. But what kind of Tongkat Ali were they using in that study? Like, was it a specific type?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The form they used. Let's put a pin in that because it's crucial for the final takeaway. Tongkat Ali is definitely the direct booster here.
Got it. So if Tongkat Ali is boosting production directly, Mucuna pruriens seems different, more indirect. It's that dopamine connection, right?
Exactly right. Mucuna brings LDOPA into the mix. LDOPA is a precursor, basically the raw material the brain uses to make dopamine.
Okay. And how does dopamine affect testosterone?
So the mechanism's pretty neat. Dopamine acts as an inhibitor for another hormone called prolactin.
Prolactin. That usually suppresses T production. Correct. So more dopamine means less prolactin, which means less suppression of testosterone. You're essentially removing one of the brakes on T production.
Okay, that makes sense. And there are studies on this pathway.
Yeah, particularly some interesting research on infertile men. Supplementing with mucuna showed significant improvements not just in testosterone, but also dopamine, adrenaline. Even sperm count and motility saw recovery.
That's compelling data for that group.
It is, but we have to be careful, right? Can we automatically assume those recovery results in infertile men will translate directly to a healthy person just looking for, say, a performance boost? That leap isn't always straightforward. It's a different context.
Good point. Okay, third ingredient. Black galangale. This one sounds a bit more traditional. Used as an aphrodisiac in Thai medicine, I read.
It is, yeah. And the research seems to back up its traditional use, showing it can increase blood flow and also dopamine levels slightly.
So it fits the pattern.
It does, but most of the modern studies really focus on its effects on erectile function. Not so much on directly causing big jumps in testosterone itself. It's likely part of the support system here, but maybe not the main driver for T levels specifically.
Okay, so we've got these 3 ingredients. Tongkat Ali for direct boost, mucuna managing hormones via dopamine, black galangale for maybe blood flow and support. On paper, it sounds pretty well-rounded.
The science for the compounds themselves, in certain forms, is promising. It targets multiple pathways. But now we hit the really critical point, the caveat, the catch.
The catch. Almost all of that impressive research we just talked about, the 34% free T jump with Tongkat Ali, the dopamine mechanism for mucuna, those studies use standardized extracts.
Standardized extracts, meaning they guaranteed a specific amount of the active compound, like a certain percentage.
Precisely. They knew exactly how much of the key bioactive ingredient was in each dose. Highly concentrated, predictable.
Okay. But the product we're looking at, the actual supplement on the shelf, it uses whole, unextracted ingredients.
Yeah.
Just the ground-up plant material, essentially.
So the big question is,
Does the whole ingredient deliver the same punch as the concentrated, standardized extract that all the impressive science was based on? And the honest answer is, we don't know for sure.
right, the potency could vary wildly from batch to batch with the whole ingredient. You might not be getting anywhere near the levels used in those trials.
Exactly. That's the potential gap between the research promise and what you actually get in the bottle. It's a huge variable.
Now, the company selling this complex claims you might see improvements in about 4 to 8 weeks. Does that timeline at least line up with the research?
Generally, yes. Some of the studies, especially for Tongkat Ali, showed effects within that kind of time frame. from 2 weeks to a few months. So the claim isn't totally out of line with the potential.
But again, who is most likely to see benefits?
The research is clearest for men, starting with genuinely low testosterone. Their potential for improvement is much greater. If your levels are already in the normal or high normal range, the effects are far less predictable, maybe even minimal, regardless of the ingredient form.
So wrapping this up, what's the bottom line?
The bottom line is, there's good scientific reason to believe the compounds in Tongkat Ali, mucuna pruriens, and black galangale can influence testosterone and related pathways. The evidence for the mechanisms is there, particularly with standardized extracts. But the effectiveness of this specific product, using whole ingredients, hinges entirely on whether that form can replicate the results seen with potent extracts in controlled studies. And that's a big if.
So if you're listening and considering something like this, the takeaway isn't just what ingredients are in it.
No, the real question is, how are those ingredients prepared? Is it a standardized extract with proven potency or just the whole herb? That detail makes all the difference between relying on science and just hoping for the best. Keep questioning everything you see on that label.